Hey, all fired up crew. I know that you guys have not seen us in a while. Um, Everything is okay. Alicia's doing great, but she will no longer be part of the show. We're actually changing over our whole name, everything, and I'm going to be bringing a new co-host to you. She is a wonderful, beautiful, amazing person that I met doing. Um, Volunteer work with several different organizations, both WolfPac, and she actually introduced me to Move On. Her name is Amy, and I'm going to introduce you all to her now. Amy, if you want to say a few things. Hold on, it says you're muted.
Oh, I had to unmute my mic. I apologize. My name is Amy Ripple Elton. I live in Ohio, in Newark, Ohio, to be specific. I have been volunteering with the organization where we met for about 15 years now. I have been politically active since the fourth grade, but very quiet and in the background up until a couple of years ago. So in 2022, I ran for Congress in Ohio's 12th district. I got just over 30% of the vote. I spent less than $5,000, which is key to understand because $5,000 is where the Federal Election Commission makes you turn in every receipt. Everybody that's ever spent any money into your campaign has to be disclosed, all of that. At $5,000 or less, you're good. I spent less than 130 on my primary and I won. So, just fair warning, I'm getting ready to run again. I am angry and very disappointed with our government and the way things are going. I have over 100 relatives in my voting district. I can't sit back and do nothing. I'm like a lot of you. However, I've been on the forefront of a lot of this that's been coming up and talking to movers and shakers so that I've known I have the option of taking action and what actions would be most productive. My goal in coming into this as a co host is to help disseminate that information to you, the viewers. Because if you're like me, sitting back and doing nothing is no longer an option because we are losing our democracy slowly but surely, and it seems to be steamrolling at this point. Nicole and I were talking. Come on in, Nicole. We were talking earlier today about Zelensky and Trump and Vance at the White House. Now, I will tell you, Vance is was before becoming vice president, elected him from one of the districts I live in. Okay. I did look at his history. Yes, he is a genius on some things. But honestly, he doesn't have a lot that we need. He's not standing up in a right way for our people. Trying to defend Trump when Trump's actions, please excuse this prejudiced, antiquated phrase, but Trump's actions remind me of what we used to call an Indian giver. Give something and then want something back in return for it, but act like it's a gift. No. When we gave those
The
that
weapons.
that to Ukraine,
Yeah.
we gave it to them. And now he wants to go in and require that the Ukraine give us rare earth minerals. or something to pay back the people. The people have been paid back.
Yeah.
We didn't have our soldiers losing their lives.
Yeah. Not to mention we were putting money into our economy
Absolutely.
by giving them our old weapons. It's disgusting. That's the
It-
only word I can come up with right now.
yeah, I mean,
But
what were we gonna do?
but
Leave weapons in a garage?
yeah,
Or the equivalent of this gets thrown in the maybe I'll want it someday pile
yeah,
until they became non-functional, dangerous munitions.
right. Just yeah, it
Yeah, I'm angry. I'm like a
yeah,
lot of you.
yeah.
So we
This,
need to start calling our leaders out. I don't mean threatening them and calling them out on
no,
none of that. I mean telling them, we will not vote for you again if you do not stop this.
yeah,
We do stand together. The courts do matter. He's already trampling over USAID.
facts matter, period.
Facts matter, yes. Don't sit there and look at me and pee on me and tell me it's raining.
Right,
I'm sorry. I won't put up with it.
right.
Same
And
reason for
that is
office.
what a lot of our shows are going to be about is calling out this administration. Um,
They,
that that and
sorry,
doing a lot of advocacy within mostly WolfPac, but also letting you guys know what's going on at Move On too. Um,
for other organizations like Indivisible, for example,
yeah,
that I will pull information from, and Working Families Party, and there's
yeah,
all sorts of places out there. The ACLU is where I
yeah,
put in the information about what's going on with USAID right now.
yes.
You know,
And in the video that we do, that's going to be attached to this intro, we do talk about my friend, well, our friend Jessica Denson's march on March 14th,
yeah,
which I will put in the description. I will put Richard's link and the link to Jessica's website.
yes,
And this weekend, I am going to be calling, trying to get blocks for hotels for that march, just so they can maybe get some rooms at least partially reserved.
yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be um, just things we're going to be talking about, things that we're involved in and all that stuff. But I definitely wanted to um, bring Amy in before you just saw her pop on a video, just so you could kind of get to know her. You guys are welcome to ask questions, comment, like the video. Definitely subscribe if you're not, because we are going to need to try and get our numbers up so we can catch this algorithm going forward.
And I will
Um,
give you another option. If it's in your area and it's urgent and you want it out there now, give me a call. My cell phone number, my personal cell phone. I know nobody running for Congress ever gives you that contact. Mine is 614-772-5794. And I've done this with Cenk Unger. I've done this on Richard Ojeda's podcast. I put myself out there. It is not one of those I'm better than you. Honey, I'll change a diaper, push a broom, cook a meal, whatever I need to do to get our democracy back. And I am no good for, not too good for any of it. As long as my body can keep up, I'll go.
yeah,
As long as my money will handle getting me to and from and keeping my house stable, I'll go.
Yeah.
This is about all that. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, I'm on disability. I'm going to lose my income for life if I go in and only be paid for 2 years.
Yeah.
To me, it's worth it. To me, it's worth it. I have two sons, both in their 20s. I'm looking at the education system. I had to rely upon the education system for help with my younger son who has disabilities. I had to rely on that to keep him moving forward for physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. We started him on these things, get this, at 12 months old through the Department of Developmental Disabilities. He was in a special pre K program. These are the things that are being attacked.
Yeah.
The elimination of DEI. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm boiling mad. I was a parent advocate for a few years when he was a child because they couldn't have an official parent advocate because that required payment.
Yeah.
So I became that person as vice president of the PTO when he was a child. Having had disabilities within that range, I was able to honestly sit across from parents and go, no, unless you were out there drinking and drugging and trying to cause your kid's disability, you didn't cause it. That is one big misnomer that parents have. I had to help teach them. And then it's let's move out of the guilt phase and into the what do we do about this phase?
Yeah.
Helping them interpret what their professionals were telling them on a practical level.
Yeah.
Oh, my kid needs this and that. How do I need to rearrange my home to make that happen? What community organizations can help me connect with this or that?
Yeah.
And yes, by the way, I do have a beard. That is something that a lot of people say something about, and I didn't think to do that until just looking at myself now. I am completely female. I have given birth. I have also adopted. So I have double the testosterone of the average female. I had an ingrown hair turn into a cyst on my leg and had to have it cut out, and it was turning cancerous. And I said, forget it years ago with shaving and so on. If I do that, what's going to happen? Am I going to get another ingrown hair that turns into a cyst that turns into
Yeah.
cancer, kills me? I've had
Yeah.
cancer twice now. I'm not doing it again.
I wasn't gonna address it. I was gonna let you address it, so
Yeah,
I don't even see it anymore.
but
I
honestly,
see you.
we want to know how what's going on is affecting your community. We have
Yeah.
our own communities. We can't see what's happening there. That way, we can look at these bigger organizations and say, this is what we're hearing. What do we do? How do we direct the people to make an impact with their voices
Yep.
in their community without going so over the top crazy that we end up burning it all down to the ground?
Exactly. And
The
that's
way.
and that's why we need you guys to comment stuff that's going on in your community that
Yeah,
you want us to know about so we can push that out to the different organizations we are involved in. Because there's no way for them to know how to focus.
right. Without your input.
Yeah, without any input from you guys. And like I said in the description of this video, I will be putting a couple of organizations that we are involved in. I'm going to also be putting Richard's link for his donation page,
Yes.
as discussed in the video that's going to follow this. Yes, we are in different clothing. It is a different day from when we recorded that video.
Right.
But yeah, we'll put all that information in there. I will put dual links. I'll put one for Move On, one for WolfPac on how to get involved. WolfPac, first and foremost, they are um, about getting money out of politics, which is
Absolutely.
the whole reason I became a progressive.
Well, I'll go a
Um,
step further with that. It's not just getting money out of politics. It is a literal change to the Constitution. It is an amendment that we are after that
yes,
describes how politicians can obtain the financial backing for their campaigns
yeah,
and the ways that they can spend it. That
that's
gives,
better explanation.
yeah,
And
it
then go ahead.
confusing to people who've never stepped into this arena. So
Yeah,
if you come to Wolfpack, sit down with somebody. We also work bringing people in, Nicole and I do, but sit down with somebody, they'll reach out to you,
yep,
either text or email, and find out.
yeah,
Us, tell us what you like and what you don't.
yeah,
Get any misunderstandings clarified and
for
get
sure.
figure out what I don't want to say what your greatest trait you can bring is. What I want to say is what your greatest love you can bring is.
Yeah,
What love can you bring in that's going to give us energy to push this further and further?
yeah. And then the other organization that I'm a part of, as well as Amy, is Move On, which is a more progressive
Yes.
driven organization. Ooh, I got shade for a minute. We're a progressive driven organization. Um, so if being a progressive specifically is what drives your political um
Use.
yeah, use story. If you want to be involved in several facets of being a progressive, I would
Mhm.
say Move On would be where you would want to go. Um, go ahead.
It's the ground work out in the community is
Yeah,
your, driving force indivisibles where you want to go. If planning, working together, and just sitting down to give least amount of time for biggest effort, you're looking at something like Move On, Wolfpack, or Working Families Party.
absolutely.
You know, so
And I will have Amy give me the link for Indivisible and any other organizations.
org,
It's
Wolf,
what?
or not Wolfpack, sorry, Working Family
Indiv
Party is WFP.org,
mhm.
I believe, or it's .com, and
Okay.
Visible is indivisible.org.
Okay. I'll make sure to include those in the description for anybody who's interested. Like we said, there's several different progressive and just different organizations you can get involved with, period, depending on what drives you.
Yes, and there are other parties trying to form, like the
Yeah,
Forward Party, that might interest you as well.
I
So,
heard Jamal Bowman is starting one as well.
so,
Just do your homework and figure out, what specifically interests you, and you can kind of look at their websites and see what it is that is most fitting for you.
I want to leave you with a piece of education that should help you understand where we're at from a historical basis,
Hmm.
and we'll show you that you're not alone. We're in the middle of what's called a blitzkrieg. What that literally translates to is multiple lightning strikes at the same time. What that comes across as is like in World War II, it's the propaganda machine, constant hitting before we have a chance to deal with one thing. The next thing's already hit, and the next thing.
Yep.
So,
Constantly throwing things like all of the uh, orders that have gone out and all of the firings that have been happening. There's a purpose
absolutely.
for them behind it.
And by the way, you will see me real and raw. And yes, I smoke tobacco. No, I don't drink alcohol very often. And I'm constantly drinking pop. I have narcolepsy. The caffeine helps me stay awake, as well as medications that I take. But yes, so it's easy to get caught up in the, oh my God, this happened. Oh my God, that happened. Oh my God, this happened. And it's so much that it can drive you down. But you're playing into their game when they do that. When you're letting it overwhelm you and getting so emotionally vested in, I know these are important causes, but in one particular cause, you cannot see the forest for the trees at that point. We need to band together and be the forest and let them know that their forest is not going to knock down all the progress we've made in the past 30 years.
Which I am proud to say that Move On, Indivisible, and Working Families Party, that I know of those three specifically, are working together now. And this is, I think, a first that we are all working so closely together. But
Now, if you are in central or southern Ohio, I am
mm,
getting ready to step up with Working Families Party and create what they call a wolf pack, which is separate from the wolf pack we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
Give me a call, give me a text. We'll talk if you're in those, because I need people on board. I can't do it alone. Nobody can. This is a we, not a me.
yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
You matter. Don't let anybody tell you differently.
Mm, we
You,
all matter. And
but don't let your mental health take a dump over
yeah,
happening, or you've played their game, and let
correct,
them come back to the table. Take that deep breath. Take a break for a few weeks if you need to, but set a time frame to come back.
for sure.
And go to the groups, to us, to wherever that you get your positive information on how to take practical steps and find out what do they need. How
Yeah.
can you help? We'll keep you apprised on our ends as well. That's all I can say for today, Nicole. How about you?
Yeah, I think you pretty much said everything I needed to. So if you all could just bear with us, you're gonna see a video following this introduction that we just did. And it is talking about both Amy and Richard Ojeda. Look him up on YouTube under Richard Ojeda. Oh,
I'm on Facebook,
yeah, is it OJEIDA?
OEDA.
IEDA?
No, OJEDA.
Okay, I thought there was an I in there somewhere.
That's because the J throws people off.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. But he's on YouTube. He is a former, well, a retired
Mm-hmm.
Army major. and he is just, to me, the one of the best things since sliced bread. I love him.
I do
Um,
too.
he'll tell you
He's
things
also
like it is.
country, and you'll see in that video where I stepped back and didn't say as much as I would like to
Yeah.
because he had it covered.
Right, yeah, he pretty much covers all the bases.
Mhm.
So thank you guys. Let us know what you think of the first video. Um, we will be back probably in the next week to 2 weeks to do a new video. But thank you guys. And like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are going to be continuing on from where Alicia and I left off. So we will be doing regular videos.
Mhm.
Um, both Amy and I, she's going to be the new permanent co-host. And we just really look forward to um, doing this thing. So thank you guys again for the patience and the love you have showed both myself and Alicia in the past. And I hope you show the same love and respect to Amy going forward.
And I'm really grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys. Hey everybody, it's Nicole, Amy, and we have a special guest, Mr. Richard Ojeda. So I know that our co-host Amy had told me about running in Ohio, and we have Richard Ojeda here, who is also going to be running for U.S. Congress in North Carolina. So I'm going to give you both time, Richard, if you want to go ahead and tell us, about the district you're running in and what you're running for.
Well, I am actually running in North Carolina's ninth congressional district. Uh, I am not new to this area. I've been living in Aberdeen, North Carolina now for 3 years. But before that, I was in West Virginia for a few years. But prior to that, I spent uh, 16 of my 24 years in the military pretty much at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So I've owned homes in Fayetteville and paid taxes. So I'm excited to be back here, and I'm excited to get back into politics uh, because, like I said, I look and I see things all the time that need to be addressed, and nobody's willing to address it. And I think it's time that we start standing up. I think that if we don't start putting good Democrats running for these races that can actually flip seats from red to blue, I think we're going to lose our democracy. I think that right now we have a person that is the president of the United States that wants to create a dictatorship where he gets to rule everything with an iron fist, and understand that those of us who served in the military, we took an oath to support the Constitution against all
Yes.
enemies, foreign and domestic. And it's our responsibility to stand up and fight against any of this, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Richard, I
So
can't
glad to
agree
hear it.
with you more. I absolutely am 100% on with that. I have many friends who are veterans. I have many family members who are veterans. And we've been seeing the rule of law being trampled all over the place. I am running because I am angry. I am downright angry. The law should apply equally to everyone. Otherwise, it's not a civilized society.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Agreed.
I am ready to run with you, even though I'll be running in Ohio's 12th district. And I think that we need to get this idea that because we are courteous and kind means that they can walk over us like a doormat.
Yeah, that's why it's important for people to start getting into these fights. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, guess what? Republicans are losing their jobs too because of Elon Musk's slashing of
Yeah.
of of, of programs. When they
Yes.
kill Medicare and Medicaid, Republicans are going to find themselves struggling too, which
Oh
is
yeah.
why you are watching these town halls all across America where these Republicans are getting their butts handed to them
Oh
by
yeah.
Mhm.
by a group of Republicans,
Yeah,
you
I've been
know?
watching them.
Yeah.
They're in the FAFO part
Yep.
of this.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to seeing both of you out
It,
out on the trail. because I know that you guys can will kick major, but and I just look forward to seeing the two of you because I know Amy very well and I know you well enough to know what you're
Yeah.
about. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm open to help Amy any way that I can with this since
Well,
Great.
that's the thing
I
about
cannot
Richard
run.
too, Nicole. That's the thing about Richard too. What you see is what you get. He
Yeah,
is right there who he is all the time, you know. And that's one of the biggest things I respect about him as not just a candidate, but as a person, is because he's not going to blow smoke up your butt and make you think that, it's rainbows and
yeah,
lollipops.
I think the key is that, you know, we can't sit silent. You know,
No,
yeah,
I'm sick and tired of watching Democrats bow down to Republicans.
absolutely.
I said this before. I said, you know, I'm sick and tired of watching the Democrats show up to a fist fight with a pillowcase
Yeah,
while the Republicans got brass knuckles. It's time to
me
knuckle up, and
too.
that's
it
exactly what needs to
is.
happen.
And
Yes,
Uh,
I'm tired of pussyfooting around the damn language.
you're
I
right,
will
but
cuss
also
periodically. I
you're
am an in your face inner city person with country comprehension and common sense.
I think it's also important to understand that I never in my life cared for a politician.
No,
You know, I got into politics because I felt that I had to. I mean, where I
yes,
come from, the politicians are dirty. Remember,
yeah.
I took a pipe to the back of the head and 8 broken bones in my face
Mm.
2 days before I won my Senate seat in West Virginia.
Oh
oh
my
my
So
God, I
goodness.
didn't know that.
I
yeah,
didn't know that either.
they knew that if I didn't die on that creek bank, I'd be the next senator, and I won, and I become the next state senator in that area. It was dirty. I mean, the
Oh,
courthouse was supporting the guy that tried to murder me. I mean, all this stuff was just absolutely crazy. But that's what happened. But the reason why I got into politics is because I watched. You know, the first time I ever ran, I we had a guy by the name of Nick Rahal who, you know, had served in Congress for 38 years. And
Right.
his thing was that he would come down to Logan County, West Virginia. He'd write 3 checks to the 3 biggest crooks and tell them that, you know, this is, and those crooks would be like, don't worry, we'll give you Logan County on a silver platter. And that's the way it always was until I got there. And
yeah,
then I said, you know what? Why is this guy who don't come around here? And I challenged him. And you know what? I knew I wasn't going to win, but I wanted to be a thorn in his side. And guess what? He beat me, but I beat him like a drum in my home county. And that right there sent a serious message, and he was not happy. And he absolutely let the people that know that he wrote the checks to that he wasn't happy. Well, they got pissed because once again, this is now jeopardizing that check that they get
Hmm.
every 2 years.
yeah,
And
Yep.
you know, just it is what it is, and that's what ended up getting me. My father was threatened, and I said, you know what, you ain't threatening my father, and that's when I finally made the decision that I was going to run against a state senator, and I beat him. And I
Yep.
can't say that he's the one that paid the guy to try to murder me. But I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't put it past nobody that's in politics in Southern West Virginia to not be willing to do some things like that.
yeah.
Because in places like that, that stuff happens.
And
I
that's like
don't
where
doubt it.
I'm at right now. I have over 100 family members in district. Most of them are Republican. I don't care. They're still my family members and I love them.
Yeah.
You know, they can still walk in here, kick off their shoes, grab something to eat, and, plop down on my couch before even saying hi, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
But what I'm afraid of is the future that we're leaving for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be running either. I could sit here and, you know, just chill and relax and not worry about it.
yeah.
Well,
One of
that's
the
why it's
things,
important. Go
I
ahead.
yeah.
learned clear back in the fourth grade is when I ran my
Hmm.
first petition. I changed the food in our lunchrooms in the school that I went to
Wow.
for the whole district
Jeez.
by
Um,
just asking people to get, sign on
yeah,
so that we would have choices or
absolutely.
healthier options. This was back in the 80s,
Yeah.
you know. Everything was from a
absolutely.
can or a box.
Yeah. And on Richard's note about why he wanted to run is exactly why I got into volunteering
I know.
for politics is I don't trust politicians that
I don't either.
the only ones I will trust, at least as far as I can trust people that I don't know, is that they don't take lobbyist money.
Right. But
And
that's so hard to find because running a campaign right
right,
now, I mean, I know you know this, I know this, Richard knows this, but if you don't take that money, it is so difficult to get enough money in the coffers to just do basic advertising.
depends
Or,
on how many people you seek endorsements from.
It depends on your reach, and it depends on, your voice.
Yeah,
I do a nightly
right,
live every night for 1 hour. I've been doing it for years, and I do
I
it seven
know.
days a week.
I
I
saw
Uh,
that.
love it.
I'm now at the point where on any given night I have between 800 and 1,000 people on.
Yep,
Yeah.
And I will tell you that the people that are already donating to me, they know who I am. They know exactly what I'm about. I don't sugarcoat anything. I am sure that my
absolutely.
opponents are going to put together collages of me, cursing, using the F word. But you know what? At the end of the day, the very people that want to act like they walk with the Lord are the very people that are cutting SNAP benefits and
Yeah,
going after people that are
Absolutely.
poor. So
right.
so
Taking
I'm at
away
the point.
Medicaid.
Yeah, I'm at the point where you know what? Everybody should be talking, using the F word right now about what we're going through, about what's
Yeah.
happening. We got a
Yes.
man child running around with the daggone chainsaw, who is the weirdest man on the face of the earth. And you know what? I hope everything that he touches tanks. I hope that
hmm
daggone his swastikars tank. I hope that it won't bother me if he crashes into Mars with his rocket. I don't care. As long as he's on it, I'll be happy.
There's so many F words
Yeah.
that I could use in when
Yeah.
thinking about him.
Yep.
Um,
But honestly, the biggest one I think of is freedom. We're
that's
selling out our freedom
Yeah.
instead by allowing him to go through all these government, entities from Social Security to the
yeah,
Department of Education for crying out loud.
yeah. Mine was our F and allies because I sat watching a video for a half hour, crying my eyes out last night, seeing the UN voting with Russia and North Korea about not
Not the
about
UN,
Russia.
not the UN, the United States.
Well, no, it was a
Oh,
UN vote,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean,
but
the
the US,
UN.
yeah, sorry, the
Yeah.
US voted with Russia, North Korea, Turkey.
Yeah, this
Um,
this tells us all exactly where Donald Trump
yeah,
really is. This is what
yeah,
we say when they say that Donald Trump has been an agent since 1987.
oh yeah,
This is why.
yeah,
Yesterday's vote proved that
proved it.
Vladimir Putin's time and effort into Donald Trump has worked out quite well for them.
Did you
Well, and the
see?
other thing that drives me batty is what's this about trying to get minerals, rare
Yeah,
earth
they're trying
minerals
to
from
extort Ukraine
Ukraine?
for minerals.
Because Donald Trump is a criminal, and Donald Trump
Yeah,
wants,
Right.
once again, by killing USAID. I
hmm
mean, there's food that is rotting at ports right now that's
yeah,
not going to get to the poor of the poor. I understand USAID is our outreach arm for humanitarian
hmm
issues. And people will starve because of this. Not only will people starve, but farmers in the United States are losing $2 billion a year of
yeah,
what they normally would provide for USAID. They're not finding fraud and grift. What they're doing is they're saying, okay, look, here's the deal. Medicare, Medicaid, how much does that? How much do we spend on that? It's $880 billion a year.
Right.
So, okay, we're going to kill Medicaid and Medicaid, and then they go, look at all the money that we saved America. You didn't save America.
no,
You
what
just,
they're doing is
you
taking,
just yeah, you just let elderly people and
yeah,
people that have cerebral palsy, Parkinson's disease,
people who are
Diabetes
in
like
nursing
me.
homes.
yes, yes, yes. Look,
They're,
I'm gonna tell you right now, people got to understand what are you gonna do when all of a sudden you get called because they decided to kill Social Security? a lot of the elderly people that are sitting in homes right now are there because their Social Security has been
Yeah,
garnished to the daggone company that they're staying at, so
my
that they get
dad's
to live
was.
there. That's
Yeah,
so when they kill Social Security, those homes they're not going to have that money coming in anymore. So do you
nope,
think they're going to keep those people, or are they going to say,
nope,
"Hey, excuse me, you need to come by tomorrow at 1 o'clock and pick up your elderly grandmother because if you
right,
don't, we're going to wheel her out to the curb."
Wait, it's
exactly.
even worse than that, too. Back in the 80s, I remember the insane asylums.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Yeah.
And now we have homes for people where there are caregivers there, professional caregivers, where multiple people live together in a more
I
typical
know where you're heading with
setting.
this, and it does not feel good in my stomach.
How many of them are going to be out on the streets going help or,
Or in those
running out
insane
naked in the
asylums.
middle of traffic or whatever because they
Ugh.
don't have the support they need to
Yep.
help their mental health?
Yeah.
How many people that are on mental health medications that balance them in life are
Yeah.
not going to have them? And then there's the people like myself. I am on Medicaid. I'll out myself right now.
I'm on Medicare and Social Security
I'm
and
on
Well,
Social Security and
disability.
Medicaid. If I
I
don't have my medications, I will die. There's no two ways about it.
Diabetic.
Diabetic, on insulin,
Yep.
I cannot eat without a shot. I can't even go a day without eating without taking a
Hmm.
shot.
Same.
Well,
I
I'm
And
have.
I'm I'm VA. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm the VA, and what are they doing? They just fired another 1,600 workers, and that's on top of the 1,000 that they fired a couple weeks ago that were
Yeah.
doctors, lawyers, practitioners, pharmacists, things like that.
right?
I mean, they're coming after our benefits. They don't think that we deserve to draw our disability. Look, I draw my retirement because I spent 24 years in service to this country. I draw my
Yeah.
disability because during that time you sent me to combat zones and you broke us. And that's
Right.
why we deserve both. And now they're trying to say, well, if you draw disability, you shouldn't be able to get Social Security. Look, if you want to take my
Bullshit.
Social Security from me, write me a check for every penny I ever paid into it. How about that?
Right.
Amen.
The reason why they want to kill Social Security is because Dagon Bush borrowed $2 trillion from it, and they don't want to have to pay that back.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. And once
Yeah.
again, go ahead, get rid of that. You want to see people take to the streets. We're almost
Right.
there. We're almost
Yeah.
there.
We are.
January 6th won't be shit if they
No.
continue down this path and they piss off everybody. Because let me tell you something, the Republicans are losing their jobs too. Make no
Yeah.
mistake about it. January 6th
Yeah.
will be nothing more than January 6th will look like a backyard birthday party if they keep it. Because let me
Exactly.
tell you something. Instead of a couple thousand people, we'll have millions of people taken to
Oh
the damn
yeah.
streets.
It'll make
Uh,
the summer of George Floyd look like child's play.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I
absolutely.
have friends, like I said, that are veterans. I have friends that depend on those VA benefits, and my stepdad did until the day he died.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I will tell you what, this country owes our veterans.
Yeah.
It is a blank check they wrote with their lives
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
for
Yes. They
however many
promised
years
us.
they served, and
Yeah.
they earned it.
Well, they
Absolutely.
promised us. They said no matter what, we'll take care of you when you come home. And
Yeah.
now Donald Trump is reneging on that.
And
Yeah.
that's not okay in any way, shape, or form. That's not
Right.
okay.
And I know talking about getting people out there. I know like Indivisible Working Family Parties and the organization I'm a volunteer and Amy's a volunteer of Move On are doing like a day I want to say it's the 28th of this month. I have
Yes,
to
of
double check
not
that.
spending anything
Not
unless,
spending any money, and I think it's the 50 states,
It's on
50,
the no money's on the 28th, right?
yes,
yeah,
Yes. We're not leaving my house.
yeah, neither are
I'm
we.
not either.
But I think it's 50 state houses in 50 states, one day, and people are going to be marching on their houses. And then, of course, that we all know, nowmarch.org is going to be on Pi Day, which is March 14th, which we're hoping to have a national strike
Yes.
day for people. and go to DC and march and circle the House, the Congress,
And
all of it.
actually, to help us do that, so that those of us who don't have the money to go can, donating to that cause will help go towards things like buses
Yeah,
that they're trying to get organized to bring people in. The more donations, the further out they can go.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and that's the right way. But like I said, like right now, honestly, my calendar is already, I mean, filling up rapidly.
I
So,
bet.
Yes.
I mean, I got to know in advance if there's going to be anything going in certain places so I can, do that. But I mean, I'm telling you right now, I'm doing everything in my power. That's
Yeah,
one of the reasons why people are like, well, why are you announcing so early? The reason why I'm announcing
Oh
so
my
early is
God,
because,
yes.
but I mean, I want to make sure that I get to every single county in my district and meet as
yeah.
many people as possible because that is absolutely crucial.
Not to
Uh,
mention it's not unprecedented
right? Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
like me. The official announcement for me will be on March 15th as far as local politics go, because my cousin's doing a march because she can't afford to go to Washington on the 14th. We're doing a march for our rights on our downtown courthouse square. So, yeah, I'm going to announce there. But I will tell you what, I can use as much help as I can get along the way. And I'm sure Richard will say the same thing,
Yeah.
I
as
mean,
many.
that's the thing is that people don't understand. It takes a lot of money to run a congressional race. I raised $3 million when I ran in West Virginia and still lost the race. Now, of course, it was the reddest, state in the country, and Donald Trump come and called me a stone cold crazy wacko. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you've got to be able to raise the money because, it's not just campaign manager and finance chair.
Right.
You got political director, you got lots of people on your team. You've got, media, social media folks.
Volunteer directors.
That's
Like,
right. That's right.
Yep.
yeah,
There's lots of people. So
yeah,
that's why it's important. But as far as I go in terms of, announcing this early, when I ran in West Virginia, I had 18 counties. 18 counties in my district. Now, here I have 4 counties and then I have 3 half counties.
Yep.
And, honestly, there's a lot of people in this area. There's, once again, the reason why is because of the spread out in West Virginia. That's why. But, here, I think that I've got a great opportunity to be able to get to every single one of these counties many times and meet
Mm-hmm.
as many people as possible and do as many events as possible because we haven't even started the
yeah,
traveling yet.
yeah.
Because I guarantee you that there is going to time starting next year
Mm-hmm.
where that's when you start getting the invites to go out to places like Chicago and New York and San Francisco and Los Angeles. And
Yep.
those are
Yeah.
those are areas that you got to get to. And if you go there and you do well, you can raise a lot of money.
Yes.
You've
Mm-hmm.
got to try to figure out how to get the DCCC to have your race on the radar. Because if the DCCC decides that you are worthy, they'll put you on something called the red to blue list. And that's a big deal because there's a group of
Yeah.
people, thousands of people across this country that are committed to flipping seats from red to blue.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they don't need you to go to their home and speak to them. To them, as long as the DCCC says this is one of our people that we think deserves to be red to blue, they automatically write you and sends you a campaign contribution. And that is absolutely crucial. It absolutely is a game changer. I was actually winning in North Carolina until Donald Trump came to Charleston, West Virginia, put on a coal miner's cap and called me a stone cold crazy wacko. I was actually ahead of Carol Miller.
Yep.
So yeah,
Wear that
that's
shit like a badge of honor now.
absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
I don't care for corporations. I think that we need to overturn Citizens United. We keep talking about that. But
Yep.
here's the thing. What do I do when I get to Washington, D.C. in terms of Citizens United? Well, guess what? This is the problem that I have is that why is nobody standing up on the House floor and saying, hey, guys, it's time for us to vote to get rid of Citizens United? let's overturn it. Let's bring it to a vote. Because let me tell you something. That's kind of something needs to happen. I think that we need to bring back the fairness doctrine. Because once again,
So
we
do
should
I.
absolutely require honesty and integrity in our news media.
Yes.
Yes.
So these are things that I absolutely want to champion, and I have no problems going on the House floor and bringing this stuff. They told me, don't you dare try to push medical cannabis in West Virginia. And
Oh,
I even
hell no.
told
We need that.
even but the thing is, the Democrats even told me, don't do it. You're going to make a lot of enemies. I said, I don't give a shit. And I
Wow.
pushed it, and I got the people behind me. And the last day of the legislative session in 2017, my bill, medical cannabis in West Virginia, became law. So don't tell me what I can do. Don't tell me what I
Yeah.
can't do. We don't hear people on the floor talking about why the fairness doctrine has hurt this nation so bad, and we need to bring something like that back.
Yeah.
I know you're never going to get politicians to agree to term limits, but
Yeah.
I think we could get them to
Yeah.
agree to a 20-year and out. And most politicians never make it to the 20-year mark. That's just reality.
Yeah.
Very few do. And we've got some that have been there for 45 years, which is a travesty, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you could do a 20-year and out that says, okay, it's like the military. You do 20 years in the military, you retire with 50% your base pay for the rest
Yeah.
of your life. That's your retirement. We could do
Yeah.
that with members of Congress too.
They need to
We
be
could
out at
go a step
retirement age.
we could go a step
Absolutely.
further and do it like we do here in Ohio for our judges. I believe it's age 76. If you're 76 years old, you cannot sit on the bench in Ohio.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's
65.
there's there's lots of
Get them
things that
out.
we need to do. Yeah, there's lots of things that we could do to try to do that type of thing. But once
Yeah.
again, they're never going to vote against themselves.
Yeah.
So I mean, as a person running for Congress, my focus right now is finding out exactly what the people of the Ninth Congressional District in North Carolina
Yeah.
want, and that's
Right.
what we're doing. Like 2 days ago, we sit down with young Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday we
Yeah.
had a call last night with the Democrats from Cumberland County. 3 days ago, we went to a place about 2 hours from where I live, and we attended the Democratic SEC meeting, and we got to meet the heads of 4 of my counties. So we're doing what's right. We're raising money. We're getting out there. I have my political director sitting 5 feet from me right now, and she's been putting things on our calendar, ever since I've been talking to you guys. So, I
Cool.
mean, I'm telling you,
Awesome.
my calendar is filling up, but it's filling up with the places that we need to go. I am very comfortable with my campaign team. Most of the people that were on my team back in 2018 are here now. I have a person right now that's my political director that has worked on a lot of campaigns, successful campaigns. She
Wow.
worked on Connor Lamb's campaign.
Wow.
So she's worked with Andrew Yang. So I feel very comfortable with the people that I got. And we're excited, and we're ready to get this fight on. We know that they're going to throw stones.
Oh yeah.
I know that they're going to daggone, probably go through my social media and be like, oh, look at all the times he said the F word. Look, at this point, if you're not pissed off enough to say the F word right now, then your
Right.
ass
You're
is
not on the
asleep.
right
You're not
planet.
paying attention.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes.
I use that is perfect because I use when they use woke as a derogatory term and I use it as a badge of honor because I ain't
Yeah,
asleep anymore.
that's right.
I am
I would
woke,
much
I'm
rather.
paying attention.
Yeah, that's the thing. The
Yeah.
reason why they say that is because their base, they know that their base
They
doesn't
eat
do
it up.
anything. They don't read. They read at the third grade level. They know that
Yeah.
their base is lazy. So they want to make it seem like it's a horrible thing if you take the time to do any research. But
Right.
that's how they stay in power. And let me
Well,
Yeah.
tell you
let's
something. Every day
speaking
it's
of
getting different.
research, let me give all of our listeners, watchers, some information. The first thing I'm going to tell you is Vote 411, that website. If they are part of the League of Women Voters, they send every candidate on every race a questionnaire. If it's the same race, you get the same questions. They put your answers up for everybody to look at.
Now, look, I'm down with that. I don't have a problem. I don't have a
I
problem with
know,
anything that I say. So
I know.
I
The
mean,
next thing, though, for people to know, if you go to the Library of Congress, you put in the word Thomas, like Thomas Jefferson, into their search engine, it will take you to another search engine. You can look up what any incumbent has done, has actually done, has signed on to, etc., while in office. See if their words over on Vote 411 match their actions in office.
yeah,
The
She
next
had me.
one is usaspending.gov. It shows how anything Congress appropriates or sends to different areas to be spent,
Yep.
exactly how it was spent. So see if what they're saying in the bills they pass, and how the money's actually being utilized is following a consistent train.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not thinking through from A to B to C.
Right. They need to be educated. People need to educate themselves on what their politicians are doing
Right.
and what the new up and coming people who are going to be going against them are saying they are willing to do. And I agree with that. Another thing I would recommend is open secrets.
Yes.
Is
OpenSecrets.org.
find out where the money from your politicians are coming from, where they're getting their campaign contributions from.
look,
Absolutely.
I have talked about things that I would love to do that I know some people think are kind of
Right.
outlandish. But I mean, I literally stand behind what I say when I say that I think that lobbyists should be made to wear body cameras whenever you are talking to a member of Congress. And I don't care if you are found in Walmart on aisle 7
I'm with
talking to a
you.
member of Congress and you're a lobbyist and you don't have your body camera on, you will lose your right to lobby. Period.
Yeah.
Yes.
Period.
Treat them like cops.
Let me tell you something. If the people could get on their computer and watch the conversations that their members of Congress have with lobbyists, then
Mm-hmm.
maybe the members of Congress would be far less likely to sell you down the river if they knew
Mm-hmm.
that you were watching.
Right.
And to me, I think that's something, a lot of people, I guarantee you, members in Congress won't really want to support something like that. But that's another one of those things where, you know what? Once you talk about it and people start thinking, wow, that makes a lot of sense, then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they start asking others, hey, how come you don't support, this body cameras on lobbyists? Why
Yeah.
don't you
You'll.
support a 20-year and out retirement
Yeah.
for members of Congress? We've got probably at least 15
The,
to 20 people that were there to try to impeach Bill Clinton
the
over
Mm-hmm.
the
median age is
BJ.
like in the 70s, I think, in Senate.
Yeah, we got we,
Mm-hmm.
we got people in their 90s. I mean, literally, we
Yeah.
just we just found we just found a member of Congress
In
that
a
has
In
been
nursing
a
in
home.
nursing
for
home.
6 months for Alzheimer's, and nobody said nothing. Nobody even said, "Hey, where's she at?" We're
Right.
voting. Where's she at? They didn't even say anything. So that also tells you how much the Republicans care about their own people, that they
Not
don't
to
even know that they're in a
mention,
hospital. Yeah.
not to mention, that they found that there were some, I don't remember which what representative, if you guys know, please shout it out, that there was, oh, you know what? It was Byron Donaldson. He was out in California on like news stations and shit, yet he was voting in Congress when they took away the um proxy voting
Yeah.
on some stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
So
look,
it's like
look,
y'all can't even follow your own shit.
look. They're never going to follow the
No,
rules.
no.
They will never follow the rules. But
This is
once
why we
again,
need a better class of politicians.
that's right. That's right. And we need, you know what? Let me tell you something. We're watching these, and Amy, some of those were Republican town halls. We're
Yes.
watching these Republican town halls that absolutely are ripping their Republican representatives to pieces. And what really was great was the woman was ripping into this guy because he co-sponsored the bill that said if you married your husband and you changed
I
your last name, that's 69 million Americans
like,
that they want to disenfranchise of their vote.
tell me why you're afraid of me voting.
Exactly. But then when he knew that they were pissed off about that, what did he
Uh-huh.
say? What did he say next? Because what he said, he thought that this would make them all go, okay, we're cool. He said, but we did end birthright citizenship.
And
And the
they
crowd
up
lit into
in
him again.
arms.
That's right. They lit up but he
Like,
thought
what are you
he
talking
yeah,
about?
he thought that that was the best way to go after being called out for trying to disenfranchise 60 million female voters in this country.
Yeah.
He
Right.
thought that he could say, but we ended birthright citizenship, and they would all go, oh, we forgive you then. That's okay. Yeah, let's get rid of people that are, come here from other
We're born
countries.
here, right?
Yeah, yeah. So much for send me. You're tired, you're
You're
hungry, you're
tired, you're
poor, the
hungry, you're
muddled
poor, yeah.
masses. Yeah.
Which,
But
do you remember which congressman it was? It's Richard something, where she's like, since now we have somebody in the White House who's calling himself king, I want to know what you're going to do about it. And he just gave the dumbest answer in the world.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
every one that I've seen except for the ones that Bernie Sanders is out there doing. And he is out there going to
Oh,
multiple
yes.
states. Everyone I've seen is a Republican town hall, and they are just eating them alive.
McCormick,
Rich,
he's a Rich McCormick from Georgia.
yes, yes. Oh, you look that up after we get off. It's hilarious.
Oh, they ripped him a new one,
Oh
and
yeah.
he deserved it. He deserved every bit of it.
He's also the
Yes.
idiot that went on CNN talking about, oh, kids, why should they get free lunches when they're old enough to go work at McDonald's and this
Yeah,
and
you see,
that.
but that's all part of their plan to get rid of public
Mhm.
education. You know,
Yeah.
they
Mm.
and once again, if you're going to require a child to spend 8 hours
Hmm.
a day at a location, the least you should do is feed them. You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
uh, and
Oh,
for
yes.
him to say, I started picking berries when I was 13 years old. Look, I
That's what he
guarantee you.
said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, really, but I mean, at the end of the day, you think that that's okay that we
No.
should allow. And let me tell you, as a person who spent 4 years in the classroom,
Mm.
there was something that happened when I first got into the teaching JRTC. I was always required to basically be in the cafeteria area for both of the lunches because that's where all the kids had to be. And when fights happened, it happened there, and I always had to be the one to break up the fights. But I remember one time the main cafeteria lady walked out with these two big pans, and on them were corn dogs. And they set them down. They said, we've got extras. And, you normally think maybe a couple people run over and grab a couple. I watched you girls jumping over tables to grab a handful of corn dogs and stick in their purse. Now,
Yeah.
I could understand that being a bunch of guys because guys are guys. But, it's very rare to see girls doing things like that because you kind of think, they don't want to act like, they just, they're girls.
Yeah.
They jumped over and did that. And I said, what the hell did I just see? And a teacher that was next to me said, they take them home because that's how they have food when they get home because a
Yeah.
lot of people don't. That breakfast that they got every morning, if they wasn't at school, they wouldn't get it. And oh, by the way, those
Yep.
programs also do summer feeding programs. Where
Yes.
I come from in Logan County, West Virginia, we had a hill back up on from the high school and the middle school. And those kids in the summertime, they don't get to play video games to 3 o'clock in the morning and then sleep until 2 o'clock the next day. They have to get up every morning at 6:30 and run down the hill to the middle school and get them their free lunch. And then they get a bag that's got a sandwich, it's got an apple, and it's got
Yeah.
like a Capri Sun, and that's their lunch. And if they
Yeah.
don't wake up and go do that, then they starve for the day.
Yeah.
So, when these people are talking about ending lunch for children, I
Yeah.
mean, if you're going to invest in something, that's investing in the children. There's no
Right.
reason why you should allow children to go hungry, period.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
It's
that's like when I was running, I worked with an attorney to come up with a plan for Ohio to tax things like restaurant food by 1 to 2 cents per dollar. It would have fed every child in the state, K through 12, for breakfast and lunch. I
Mhm.
was working with an additional organization who was willing to make sure that where We didn't have where we have food desert kind of things as far as free lunch went, that there was another program in place that allowed them to go like once a week and pick up. So they had lunch for that whole week and breakfast for that whole week. 1 to 2 cents on the dollar for restaurant food. I'm sorry, if I can afford $1 or a $5 burger, I can afford a couple of cents on top of that.
Yeah. And it just enrages me because they are not only taking food out of children's mouths, but they're also taking jobs from their parents.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Like, so you think they couldn't afford to feed them now or then? You're going to take their jobs from them and you're going to take the food out of the kids, the food that they were getting from those social
Hey,
programs.
I know I come from Southern West Virginia. I'm already watching. I'm already seeing on social media, they are scared to death.
Yeah.
Because oh, and I hate to say this, but I had a friend of mine tell me he was talking to some of the people that
Hmm.
he knows, and he says, "What are you going to do when they take Social Security?" They looked him in the face and they said, "Oh, he's not coming after ours. He's going after the black people's Social Security." So the
Oh my
racism is thick,
God.
sadly.
Yeah,
But
sorry, there's
let me
no you fill in a little thing saying what race you are when you sign
right.
up for
But see,
Social
that's the thing
Security.
is that's why right now they're all like surprised because they literally thought that when Donald Trump won that he would go after only the criminals, the Hispanic and Latino crowd.
Right,
They're being
right.
rounded up right now. Donald Trump said that we are going to look at every single case and we're going to get rid of the criminals. Guess what? They're snatching up entire families. There are people right now sitting in deportation centers waiting for a friggin' trip on an airplane to take them back to a country that they fled from. That's where they're at right now. And
There
right
are,
now, a lot of these people, they're scared. They're realizing
yeah,
that, you know what? The Republicans are getting hit just as much as a matter of
yeah,
fact, they're getting hit more because the Republican areas, those stronghold, West
they're letting
Virginia,
them in.
yeah, West Virginia and Oklahoma, they are as red as you can get. Guess
Yeah,
what? They're losing their jobs too. And they're not happy about it. And make no mistake,
yeah.
this isn't going to end. I mean, they have fired 5,857 workers from the Veterans Administration already. So that's not helping us. That's
No,
not going to reduce the number of suicides from 22 to 0. That's going to
Right,
increase those numbers from 22 to 32.
yeah.
right. And
And
that drives me nuts too.
What is this podcast
Because,
called?
active politics.
Active Politics.
and so the big thing that I look at on this podcast is telling people what they can actually do about it.
Yeah,
So, what you can do about it is get involved with movements like Mr. Ojetta's, like mine, like MoveOn.org, like all these other things that are actually stepping up. Move On, Working Families Party, Indivisible, all has action steps you can
yeah.
take.
Well, depending on how many people watch this and where they're from, I'm sure that Amy has her, if she hasn't already put up, her donation link. Mine is Ojeda for North Carolina. I believe is that it, Amy? If I think I'm pretty sure if you Google Ojeda for North Carolina, you can find it. But you know what? That's the thing. If you don't have the ability to go protest or
Yeah,
rally someplace, if you can't go knock on doors or make phone calls, you can steal. The day of just showing up at the polls and casting your vote
it's
and that
done.
being it's over. You can't. Look, we're
Yeah,
about ready to lose our democracy if we don't bring checks and balances back in 2026, which is one of the reasons why I'm running.
yeah,
And
Absolutely.
understand that, it's going to take a lot of money to flip these seats.
yeah.
But I'm prepared for this. I'm ready for this. I've got a phenomenal team. We're already taking donations and things are going pretty well. And that's where we are. So that's why it's important that people, know that, not just listening and sharing, but you can also donate. You can also look at where they're from and look at their district. If you like what I say and you think that I should be sent to Congress, and you know somebody in Guilford County, North Carolina, Alamance, North Carolina, Randolph, North Carolina, Chatham, North Carolina, Moore, North Carolina, Hope, North Carolina, Cumberland, North Carolina, reach out to them and say, hey, do you know Richard Ojeda? Because if you know him, you need to maybe throw an event, invite him to your house, and invite all of your family and friends over and give him the opportunity to address all of them and
Yep.
answer their questions, because
Yeah.
that's
Throw
how
a
this works.
backyard barbecue
That's right.
and, just hang out, get to know him, sit down with him over a meal. Same with
Yeah.
me. I'm planning on doing picnics in the park. Bring your bag lunch. We'll sit down. We'll talk. We'll have lunch together, because I am so tired of people in Congress who think they're so much better than anybody down here that does the average workaday world stuff. Honey, I'll push a broom.
Hmm.
I got no problem pushing a broom, taking out the trash, doing what needs done, because it is all functional things. At the same time, if, like he said, if we don't step up, we won't have a democracy.
Yeah.
That's
Let
what they
me ask,
want.
let
I
me ask
have a
you guys.
child who is part of the LGBTQ community who's
Hmm.
talking about saving money to leave the country
Yeah.
because of the politics of this country at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you both, if you can. So, because like Amy said, it's our duty to do our due diligence and see who it is that you guys are running against. Who do you plan on? Whose ass do you plan on whooping to get into Congress?
Well, my opponent is Republican Richard Hudson.
Okay.
And I mean, he doesn't really come down here very often. I mean, I look at this like a combat deployment. You
Yeah,
get
Mhm.
off the plane and you go nonstop until it's time to get back on the plane and go home.
that's
So
right.
in terms of going places, I mean, I'm like I said, my calendar is filling up, and that's good, because that's what I need to
Yeah.
Yes.
do.
Yeah, pay attention to those votes that are going on in Congress. See if that guy's voting against
Oh,
all
absolutely,
all of our
absolutely,
all of
yeah,
our best interests.
absolutely.
Richard is how you get that fixed.
Yep.
Go ahead,
Yep.
Amy. Where are you?
I am actually living in the county, in the actual home I was born into. I am running against one of Jim Jordan's stooges. His name is Troy Balderson. He
Oh,
also grew up out here. I do not know how you bankrupt a third generation car dealership, but he did, you know, and people around here want him to handle money because that is Congress's main first thing is delegating how our taxpayer dollars are spent.
until Elon got into well,
Yeah.
If it's
not
the
in
same,
Congress. Yeah,
if it's the same, uh, when you are a member of Congress, everybody has different committees that they're on,
yeah,
but
Yes.
everybody is either on judiciary or the finance, and that's everybody. You're either on one or the other, and then you could have all kinds of other, different committees you're a part of. But yeah, I mean, that's no matter who goes to Washington D.C.
yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's their job. Their number one main job is to produce a budget,
mm,
they're still googling or messing with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted our listeners or our watchers to know who to go do some research on and see what kind of BS they're pulling in Congress right now. Because I guarantee
Okay,
they
I'll
are
give you
both
one. House
pulling some
Resolution
bullshit.
369. House Resolution HR 369. Look it
Oof.
up. That's the one dealing with the Department of Education.
Yeah, I didn't need to look it up. I knew what that one was
You
from
know,
us doing research together.
yes. But I want you to think about how many children you know that have some form of disability, whether it be mental health or physical health.
That's
The only
Medicaid.
way they have the rights to have that education comes down to what the Board of Education does. And when the board in your state fails a child, the federal government should be stepping in. they also have a lot to do with college education.
Hmm.
And if we're kicking out the Board of Education, are we going to be putting these children back at home? Oh, honey, we can't educate your child.
They want uneducated people because uneducated people obviously vote stupidly.
Well, uneducated people don't know how to educate
Oh,
themselves about
okay.
the
That
future
was rude
vote.
of me. Uneducated people don't know how to critically think.
Yes. Plus, there's
Yeah,
another option to this, another
sorry.
thing that a lot of people
No,
don't think of. They stopped teaching cursive writing in a lot of our school districts quite a while back. And
and teach
if you can't
Common
read
Core.
cursive, you can't read the Constitution, the
Yeah.
Declaration of Independence, all
That's
of those
why.
documents
That's why
for
that they that
yourself.
but that is why they have been attacking education for the past
Yes.
5 decades. Poorly
Yes.
educated people are the easiest to dupe, and that's what
Yes.
we have. And once again, like I said, I come from Southern West Virginia, and
Yeah.
and there's people that are poor Republicans, and once again, that's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as poor Republicans, and they're starting to find that out. They voted
Hmm.
Republican because they thought they were Republicans, but the Republicans are now killing their capabilities, doing away with their jobs, and all
Yep.
kinds of other horrible things. So there's a lot of people starting to wake up and realize that the Republican Party has never given a shit about you.
They've
And
never
maybe it's
been
time
for
for you to
them.
start. Yeah, that's right. But that's why I'm like I'm not scared to go to a Republican event and have a
I'm
conversation
not
with
either.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, when I am successful and I win, guess what? They're all my constituents.
Yeah.
So, and I will tell you, I will show up at Republican events. If I win this, I will show up at their events
Yes,
because once
I
again,
will
I
too.
represent them too.
Absolutely.
I want to hear what they have to say too. You're right. Because they're all
Absolutely.
people. And
Yep.
that's all that matters. You know, it's
I saw
well,
something on Stephanie Miller today. John, I forget what his last name is, but he's like, um, as America, we are all one heart. We're almost like a Siamese twin where one, this is rude, but one has the brain and the other one doesn't, but we share a heart.
well, let's go one step further, Nicole. And I know Richard will agree with me on this. When you go into the military, it doesn't matter whether you're Republican, Independent, or Democrat, you're green at that point, not red or blue.
Yep. Yep.
And
Spot
we
on.
are
Exactly.
all Americans first.
Yeah, and
I,
and look at what they just did. They literally got rid of all news media from all military bases except Fox, Newsmax, and OAN. So
no
yeah, they know
way.
they want to make sure that the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that are watching their TV during the news, they want to make sure that they're being poisoned by this
They just
bullshit.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That the propaganda machine is
yeah.
moving
It
forward in
it
their
it
Oh
it
minds.
my
ha- it, it
God.
happened. It happened within the first week of Donald Trump taking office.
Oh my God.
Well, and let's go a step further. What just happened with MSNBC yesterday?
Joy Reid.
Yeah, so many of the other
Look.
than white skinned
But
people.
this is what we see. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, they just fired the only black man and the only woman on the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Yeah.
Amen.
Wow. Oh, sure, this isn't got nothing to do with racism and sexism. I
Right.
mean, and if you look at the people, their records, they deserve to be there. But once again, this is Pete Hegseth and their plan to get rid of people and put
Yeah.
sycophants in their place. They get rid of the general, and then they bring on a guy to replace him
Fucking
that
Cash Patel.
doesn't have. Yeah, this guy literally looked at Donald Trump and said, "I love you," and put on a MAGA hat. So that's
He
what
is
Donald Trump wants.
he is who planned the um either the day before January 6th or the January 6th speeches. Cash Patel is involved with that. And I think he's the one who did, what is that Mules movie? 2000
N-
Mules.
not the general officer.
Oh no, I was talking about, sorry, FBI.
Yeah,
He just became the head of the FBI.
yeah. You Cash Patel.
Yeah. Then we got an
Yeah.
alcoholic for
Department of
um
Defense.
Department of
Yeah,
Defense.
the guy literally promised. He said, "I will quit drinking if I get
You
this
saw
job."
him take a
And
drink when he was doing a speech,
he was,
right?
yeah. You don't sip water
You
like
don't sip
that.
water like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
nah.
That was
Well,
pure
let's go
liquor.
one step further. Also, with Cash Patel, he's supposedly running for governor of my state.
He ain't gonna. He's not gonna
Good
win.
luck.
He's
I
not gonna win.
know. I've never
Oh
known
my
him to live
God.
here.
Yeah.
Well, that's nothing new. Look at Oz. Who else? Um, Trying to remember who else ran in a state they didn't live in
I mean, the
besides
governor of
Dr.
West
Oz.
Virginia. The governor of West Virginia is
Oh,
from North New Jersey,
is that,
and he couldn't win in New Jersey, so he went to West Virginia,
oh
That
boy,
is wild.
and now he's the new governor of West Virginia, and he's the
good Lord.
worst. He is the worst.
I can't. I just can't, man. So
But
much. It's
here's
a,
the thing, we see all of these problems, right?
right.
We need to take action. First off,
I
pay
agree.
attention. If you see something, say something. We're in an emergency situation with our democracy.
Yeah.
Call your representatives, call your senators. Don't back down.
Look,
No.
if everybody in this country starts calling their Republican representatives and letting them know that if they do not stand up to Elon Musk and Donald Trump, that they will none of them survive the next election. They need
Right.
not
Yeah.
darken the doorsteps of anybody if they're not willing to stand up and go against these two. And I think that we're almost there. I mean, it's only been
Yeah.
30 friggin' days. It's been 35 days, and this guy has basically
Mm-hmm.
set the world on fire.
So,
It's only a matter of time. It is only a matter of time before the
mm-hmm.
powder keg explodes and people take to the streets. And I think it's going to happen. But if
Yeah.
we can convince the Republican Party, they're starting to realize that these ones that showed up in them meetings,
One
they're
of them
probably
came and
realizing
voted.
they're probably realizing that they're probably going to lose their seat unless they do
Yeah.
something to turn this around. And the only way they can turn this around is I want to see Elon Musk not only fired, I want to see Elon Musk held accountable. I want all of
Yeah.
his money to be frozen, all of his assets to be frozen, because
Until, yeah.
Elon Musk has done some underhanded things. He has
Oh,
participated
yeah.
in elections in other countries. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you send his ass to freaking Germany, they'll arrest his ass.
Yeah.
But that's what needs to happen. And
Yeah.
until they do, they don't even get the opportunity to have the conversation. If they don't
Yeah.
stand up against Donald Trump and Elon Musk right now, then they absolutely deserve to lose their seats. And look, I
Yeah.
would love nothing more than to go to Washington D.C. and be in the majority. I got stuff done in West Virginia in a super minority, but I would love to be in the majority because there are some things that I think that I would like to
Yeah.
push that I could have a better chance in making it happen. A
Right.
20 year and out could probably work if we have the majority.
Right.
Yeah.
Bringing back the fairness doctrine.
Oh,
Once you
God.
start
Yeah.
talking about that, I think that if we have the majority, we could bring something like that back. And
Yeah.
I think that's what we need. If you are a news media and you are caught telling a lie, you pay a huge fine. You get caught
Yeah.
a second time, you're going to be taken off the air for 3 months. You get caught a third time, you're done.
Gone.
Your company is no longer, you're not allowed to be on the air. Period.
So,
No
on
more
that,
FCC license.
yeah. On that, go to www.house.gov if you want to look up who your representatives are to call them. But if you don't know, well, that's to find out if you don't know. But if you can't get through on their switchboard, um, you can call the clerk of House, was it House Members and Committees Clerk of House at 202-224-3121. And you can tell them who you're calling for and leave them a message. And then you can call the next day and the next day and the next day until we start seeing some results. Now,
That
I
sounds good.
know one of those Republicans, a female congresswoman who got ripped at one of those town halls, did come back to Congress, and I think she voted. I don't know if she was in a committee or whatever, but she voted against the Republican stance of the bill. I just don't remember. I saw it quickly this morning, but they were saying how like doing these town halls and making these calls are starting to you're starting to slowly see certain representatives, and we only need like two.
Well, that's like, I think, Richard, that we could agree on. I think if you're in Congress, you should do at least two town halls a year.
Yeah.
It's not that much to
I,
ask.
look. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue doing my nightly lives every single night. You
Yeah,
know,
Right.
I'm going to do my nightly lives every single night from my office if I have to.
that's
But you know,
awesome.
I think that that's the way it should be. I think that everybody should have the ability to have a two-way line of communication to me,
Yep.
and that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do.
And I
Yeah,
was amazed, honestly. I was talking to the
I
leader
love
of
that.
the Young Democrats for my county
Hmm.
and found out that you know him too, Richard.
Who?
Jesse Howe.
Jesse Hale.
I
That
may not
sounds.
be saying his last name correctly.
Is it HOWE?
No, it's Hough.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. He has
Uh,
his show. I think I was on his show.
Yep. And I
nice.
found it very interesting, though, that we both know him.
That's
You
awesome.
know,
Hey, y'all can do like multiple like virtual town halls with
Yep.
people.
Well,
well,
look,
it's beyond that, though. What I'm looking at is if you hear that, what I just said, and you put it into the perspective of I've ran before, Richard's ran before, all these things, right? We get to know one another slowly but surely. We need to band together. I am sending this message out to every Democrat running for Congress nationwide. Forget the party, reach out to each other. When you're on the campaign trail, get each other's phone numbers. Because if we drive the message the way the people need it and we work for what they want, they will
Mm-hmm.
take care of us. If we don't, we're just as bad as the Republicans.
Yeah,
yeah,
and either one of you say the word, and I will do anything I can from my end to try to help with getting endorsements both through Move On, just as Democrats. I still have people over there, and we're Move On is also doing, they're working with Working Families Party and Indivisible doing an action community and
Yep.
training uh thing. So they're trying to get people, trained on how to do certain things and building community. And I know right now they're not doing endorsements, but I sure as heck know that Justice Democrats is, and I'm pretty sure so is Working Families Party.
Well, and I'll
yeah.
give you another step. If you're in Columbus or Cincinnati, Ohio, and you want to work with Working Families Party, I'm getting together what they call a WolfPac.
Yep,
Oh
Now, that
yes.
is separate from the organization WolfPac that Nicole and
we
I
are
both
also a
volunteer
part
for.
of.
So, know that that's coming up.
Yeah.
That I'm
Also, you
planning,
guys, go ahead. Sorry.
that I'm planning for April, beginning the first meetups for that in person.
Yes. And
Okay,
also, are you
go
good?
ahead.
Okay. Also, we are going to be having many Wolfpack members from the organization Wolfpack on our channel. They're actually going to be coming on doing interviews. And if you don't know about Wolfpack, they're all about trying to get money out of politics, trying to write it into the Constitution that we want to get rid of
Yeah.
not just necessarily Citizens United, but just lobbyists. I mean,
Right.
everything. They want to get rid of any kind of dirty money.
Cenk Uygur is one of the founders of the Wolfpack,
No
and
longer
Yes,
affiliated, but
really,
yeah,
really.
wow.
yeah, it's run by nobody associated with Jank. He'll
Uh,
still mention it. He's still the
Actually,
founder, but he is not part of Wolfpack anymore.
even though he still supports us.
Right, he
Um,
still supports us.
well,
it's
look, I've
Josh
got to hop off here.
Aces.
Okay.
I've got
Okay,
to hop off. So I'll see you guys. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Richard,
Thank you for
Josh
coming.
Aces is the head of Wolfpack right now.
Outstanding. Well, just let me know when you guys do something because I
Okay.
have no problems being a part of the Wolfpack too. All righty.
I
Okay.
love
I'll see y'all.
you.
All
All
right. Bye
right.
bye.
Have a
Bye.
wonderful,
You
productive
too.
day. Go kick
Yes.
ass.
Airborne.
Amen.
What is it? Snipers, snipers clear the way, airborne all the way. That
Hmm.
our homeboy Richard. I love him.
I do too.
Ah,
He
he gets me
is,
fired up.
he not just gets me fired up, but he's down to earth.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
he says needs to be said.
Yeah. Much
And
like you, he is an educated person who is running for Congress, and he can teach you a thing.
yes,
Like
he is very smart.
that's why I said I'm looking forward to the two of you guys running at the same time.
Oh
Like I am
God, this is going to be
excited.
fun. I'm
I am
actually
so
looking forward to
excited.
it as well.
We're gonna be doing so many freaking videos with the both of you. I'm so excited for that.
Well, and I'm excited to get to meet your base that you've already built with Alicia,
Yes,
you
yes,
know, because I'm looking at this and I'm going, we've been talking about this for a good long while.
yeah.
Now they get to
And
see who
look
I
at that.
really am.
Now we've recorded the first video.
Yay.
All right, I'm gonna pause recording, or I'm gonna
Go ahead
stop
and stop.
recording.